I wanted to do a short video for those of you encountering physical challenges where you find it more difficult to manage things while seated in a recliner. As caregivers, are you finding it more difficult to keep items from falling in front of your loved ones while they're in a recliner? When Rebecca started having these problems and her MS declined, we started looking for aids to help her. I wanted to share in this video one of the things I designed to enable her to have a flat surface in front of her while she was seated in her recliner. She needed to have a flat surface in front of her for several reasons. Number one, a sturdy place to have her food while she ate. Number two, a sturdy place for her to have her electronics. And number three, Rebecca also has issues with having uncontrolled hand movements, and this table assists her in keeping her hands and arms under this table and controlled. I started with designing a side table. This one is basically a small two-level bookshelf, roughly 12 inches wide, 30 inches in length, and about 26 inches in height. This one's made of pine boards, but you could also make it in any type of hardwood. I installed 4 2-inch caster wheels on the bottom so the table could be easily moved around. I then cut a piece of wood that mirrored the top of the table, and we will refer to this as the second top. I installed 1/2 of 2 20-inch kitchen side drawer slides, or extension runners, on the surface of the side table, roughly in the middle with the extension going forward. I installed the second half of the drawer slide to the underside of the second top board that I had cut. Once slid together, this allowed the table to have a sliding top that can extend beyond the surface of the original side table. I then cut a third top table for the side table, referring to this as the third tabletop. The same width, but now longer than either of the other two tops. This one has a length of 45 inches. This third tabletop for the side table functions as the tabletop that can rotate in front of and across the recliner. This third top was installed with what you call a rotating bearing plate, or a turntable bearing swivel. You can buy these online or in hardware stores. One side of the plate gets screwed into the second tabletop, and the other side gets screwed into the bottom of the third and longer tabletop. The rotating bearing plate is installed roughly in the middle of the second tabletop and about 12 inches from the end of the underside of the third tabletop. Once connected together, it allows the third tabletop to rotate across at 360 degrees. The top of the side table with the 2 additional tops is now about 28 inches in height. So the side table has weight and will stay on the side. The second tabletop can now escalate beyond the tabletop, and the third tabletop can now rotate across the person seated in the recliner. The height of the side table is important and would need to mirror the height of the arms on the recliner. Lift recliners are all different, so you would need to measure these heights before you build one of these side tables. The third tabletop, once rotated across the recliner, may not touch the recliner arm on the far side. You may want to have your loved one sit in the recliner and see if the tabletop needs to rest on their lap or arms, like mine does for Rebecca, or whether the arms of the recliner are higher, and you can design your side table height so this top rests on the far recliner arm. As a side note, I built the side table base to sit on the right side of the recliner by placing a back panel on the table. This can be used to hide items you may want to store in the side table. You can build one of these tables with the back on the opposite side and then use this side table on the left side of the recliner based on your needs. Rebecca also has a lot of electronics, so I designed the side table with this back so I could install a power surge strip on the side for easy plug-ins. You don't have to have a back on the side table at all if you don't want to, and then it could be used on either side of the recliner. Finally, I painted the side table to match a color in our living room so it would not stand out as much. I also recently poured an epoxy top to this table to make it easier to clean. My third top that rotates, I also installed a bead of molding on both of the long sides to keep small items and electronics from sliding off the table. In Rebecca's case, she has lost the ability to use her arms and legs, so this side table helps her while she is seated in her recliner. It is a stable surface to hold her food, her electronics, and in her case also applies some weight on top of her hands and arms under the table to control some of her uncontrolled hand and arm movements. This sort of side table may be a useful idea as an aid to you if you're handicapped, have weakening arms, or to assist a caregiver. I have placed some links to some of the hardware used in making this side table below. These are links to Amazon products, but these items are likely available at most hardware stores as well. I hope this idea can be useful to some of you. Have a great day.